Hello and welcome to the Oak and Lamb YouTube channel. My name is Becca Oaks. I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. One thing that we stress a lot here at Oak and Lamb is how important it is to keep a well-calibrated machine. Now, what is a calibrated machine? You might ask. If you're interested in print and cut at all, making stickers, making print and cut cards, making magnets, making anything that you would need to print out on a printable sheet and then cut with your machine, then you need to know how to calibrate your machine. Sometimes we have members who do not have to calibrate their machine a lot. Sometimes we have members who have to calibrate their machine almost every single time they move it. With Design Space's newest update, they have released a new way to calibrate your machine in Design Space, and we want to make sure that we cover that for you so that you feel confident when you go to calibrate your machine. Now, for those of you who are seasoned Cricut crafters, the calibration process doesn't look too different from the previous process. But we definitely wanted to cover this for anyone who may feel a little bit shaky about the process. So what you're going to need to calibrate your machine is a printer, some copy paper, a matte, light grip, or standard if you have one that's been used quite a bit and won't peel or anything like that when you remove the copy paper. And then you need your Explore machine or your Maker series machines, any of the Cricut machines that are print and cut compatible. You'll also need your computer or your electronic device that you connect to your Cricut with. Once you have all of that, we're going to open up Design Space and I'll show you how easy it is to calibrate the machine. Okay, I have Design Space pulled up here and I'm going to be calibrating my Cricut Maker 3. So I want to come up here and change my machine setting. And then I'm just going to come here to the hamburger menu and then press Calibration. Now, if you are calibrating a Maker series machine, you'll have the option to calibrate for the rotary blade, the knife blade, and print and cut. If you have an Air 2 or Explorer series machine, then the print and cut option is the only one that comes up. We are going to calibrate for print and cut today, so we'll go ahead and press this right here. And then it's going to ask you to choose what printer you want to print your test sheet out on. I'll be using a Canon Pixma. So I'll go ahead and press print and print this out. Now that that has printed out, we'll go ahead and press continue in Design Space, and it's going to prompt us to place the printed sheet on a mat in the top left-hand corner. Back over in Design Space, we're going to press continue. We're going to connect to the machine that we will be calibrating. Then it tells us to prepare our machine to make sure that nothing is in clamp A, that the fine point blade is in clamp B, and that we load our mat and then press the load button as well. Back over in Design Space, it is prompting us to press go on our Cricut. So the Cricut has created a series of cuts right here. Now let's look over at Design Space and see what the next prompt is. It says, without unloading, examine the cut line around the small square in the middle of the calibration sheet. Does the cut line touch the printed line all the way around? Yes or no? Make sure you do not unload the mat. And then there's a little tip. You may need to take a photo of the calibration on your smartphone and then zoom in to answer the question. However, I have a better tip for you. Let's look at the overhead camera again, and I'll show you my tip for this. Without unloading my mount, I like to take a weeding tool and weed off this piece that it's just cut here in the center. Now I can evaluate how much black is around and right here to see whether or not it's touching all the way around. Now, my machine is not terribly out of calibration, so it touched all the way around. You can see, actually, I don't know if you can see or not, but this side and this side have just a tiny bit more black. It's a little bit thicker than this side and this side. So we're almost there. I have had machines that are way out of calibration where there's no black at all right here. But let's go back to Design Space and choose the correct option for this particular cut. So because my line was touching all the way around, I'm going to choose yes, proceed to fine calibration. But like I said, if it wasn't touching all the way around, then I would select no, and then it will do a basic calibration. And then once you did the basic calibration, you'd come back to this point. And if it was touching all the way around, you would proceed with the fine calibration. So again, because mine's touching all the way around, I'll select yes and then press continue. My Cricut automatically makes a series of cuts on the sheet that was already loaded into the machine. And it is going to have me select which cut is in the center of which number and letter. And I will insert those answers into Design Space. I'll show you that in just one moment. Before we go back over into Design Space, I'm going to go ahead and look at these lines and see which cut is in the very center of these printed out lines. You might not be able to see this, but I'll show you an example in Design Space on what a good cut is or where a good line location is versus a poor one. 10 is in the center. Nope, 11 is in the center here. And then L is centered on this side. Do you notice I did not unload my mat? It's important. Do not unload your mat until it actually tells you to. So again, we have 11 and we have L. Now let's go back over into Design Space. You can see here they give an example of where a good cut line should be located. See how it's directly in the center here? Sometimes you'll see one to the left and to the right, and the one to the left will be just a little bit over to the left. The one to the right will be just a little bit over to the right. So pay attention when you get around these for which one is exact. These are all examples of lines that are not good. So again, we're going to choose the top line. Number 10 was our perfect, number 11 was our perfect line. And then on the right side, letter L was our perfect line. Now that I have that selected, I'm going to press continue. Once again, the Cricut has made another cut. However, this time it is around this larger rectangle. So again, without unloading your mat, examine the cut through the middle rectangle on the calibration sheet. If it's easier to see, you may remove the calibration sheet from the mat. I don't do that though. Are you satisfied with this cut? So again, without unloading the mat, I am going to just take my weeding tool, pick this up here, and examine to see whether or not I like this calibration. I think it looks really, really good. So back over in Design Space, I'm going to choose yes, the cut is close enough to the center. Now I'll press continue. My calibration is complete and the Cricut machine automatically unloaded my mat for me. Now I can go ahead and close and proceed with my printing cuts. I hope you enjoyed this video on how easy it is to calibrate your machine. If yours was not quite this easy and you had to go through a couple of different cycles of printing and cutting and choosing, don't feel like that's abnormal. I have had to do it probably 7 times before on an older machine before I got it correct. So just keep with it until you get an absolutely perfect cut. If you want some other tips and tricks for creating amazing print and cut projects, check out this other video we have on print and cut. And if you enjoyed this video and think you might like some of our other content, I would love to invite you to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel here. It is free to do that, and you can turn on notifications so that you're notified each time we're live and post new content. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, and click the link down below if you would like to become a flock member here at at Oak and Lamb and benefit from our member-only content, our private Facebook community, and our entire library of cut files with free commercial use license. Use the code 35NOW, that's 35NOW, and receive $35 off an annual membership. That annual membership will give you instant access to the amazing community that we have in the craft industry. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you here another day for another video.